Lady from Bucks County, Ms. Quinn, under unanimous consent.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Colleagues, I appreciate the opportunity to introduce members of the Rothwell family, my maternal relatives, and to recognize their service to our country. I also acknowledge the chairman of the Veterans Affairs and Emergency Services Committee, Representative Steve Barrar, for his sincere interest and hospitality towards my family, as well as Major General Randy Markey of the Pennsylvania National Guard, who is here with us today. Mr. Speaker, last August, I felt sad and worried as I sent my 18-year-old off to college. My mother, Mary Lee, shared with me what her mother, Marguerite, told her when my siblings and I went away to school. Nana said, "You're sending her to college. I sent 5 sons off to war." Well, that comment certainly put things into perspective for me. Here I was upset when I would have the opportunity to stay connected and to be in touch with my child daily if I wanted, through emails, phone, or even Skype. I thought about the courage, the fear, and the pride the parents, that my grandparents, and the parents of all soldiers must have felt to say goodbye as they sent their children off to parts of the world they knew little or nothing about, to hostile lands, and to accepting these in the name of patriotism. My mother and her brothers grew up in a row home in the West Oak Lane section of Philadelphia, 8 people in a 3-bedroom, 1-bath, 16-foot wide house. Their house was certainly short on space by today's standards, but their home was never short on laughter, music, and love of country. During World War II, there were 3 blue stars in my grandparents' windows. The first represented Bill Rothwell, an Army Staff Sergeant whose duties took him to New Guinea, Wake Island, and the Philippines. He witnessed the signing of the peace treaty while waiting to enter Japan. During his 3 years' stay in the islands, there was no fresh milk or fresh produce. Imagine that. Uncle Bill turns 89 this week, and he's here with us, along with all of his siblings. Bob Rothwell, number 2, caused a ruckus at home when he enlisted in the Army because he didn't tell the recruiter about his fractured skull. His determination and dedication helped to get him through fierce combat in Germany. He recalls accompanying German POWs through the mountains in December and how the soldiers, Americans and Germans, celebrated Christmas Mass together. Uncle Bob was awarded the Purple Heart as a result of injuries sustained during an ambush attack. Dick Rothwell, the third of the boys to go off to war, had to say goodbye to the love of his life, Helen, when the Army drafted him. He was shipped out to Tokyo, where he was stationed at General MacArthur's headquarters camp and had almost daily contact with the general. No phone calls or computers, but many, many letters, and Helen did wait for Dick, and they married soon after his return. 3 of his children are with us today. When the Korean War began, it was Jack Rothwell's turn. Corporal Rothwell spent 2 years in Korea with the Army's 14th Combat Engineers. He was an underwater demolition specialist. There was no Blue Star banner in the Rothwell family window for Jack. After all, it wasn't a war. It was just a police action. Right, Uncle Jack? Peacetime came, but our military engine kept moving. The youngest brother, Dave, served in the Army and then in the Pennsylvania National Guard. He protected San Antonio, Texas, and recalls that the food was great and the women were beautiful. Families responding to the call of duty were standard in those days. A few blocks away from my grandparents' home was another Rothwell family of 10 children, 6 brothers. Larry, the youngest surviving brother, joins us today. His parents, Marie and Frank, said goodbye to 4 sons in 1942. By the end of the war, their window banner had 6 stars, 5 blue, and 1 gold star for Frank, who never made it home. He was shot down over France and is buried in Normandy. Paul was wounded in the invasion of Saipan. Joe spent 3 years with the Air Force in Italy. Al, a Marine, fought on Iwo Jima and participated in the invasion. John spent 4 years in China, and Larry was a radio man, second class in the Navy. He kept everyone at home safe, serving on a minesweeper in the Atlantic Ocean, patrolling from Cape May to Miami. These men, members of the greatest generation, didn't stop there. Their patriotism was instilled in the next generation, and it was their turn to say goodbye and to send their children off to war. Bob's son, my cousin Stephen, was a corporal in the Marines and served in Vietnam from '68 to 1970. When his company was overrun by sappers, Vietnamese suicide special forces, he became critically wounded. My cousin tells me that when she and the family went to meet Stephen when he was finally released from a hospital in Japan, he was 90 pounds and bent over. In addition to receiving a Purple Heart, as his father did, Stephen was highly decorated, but teases that his favorite medal was his Good Conduct Medal, because the nuns would never have believed he'd earned that. Grace Rothwell, one of Stephen's sisters, was the first female Rothwell in the family. She served in the Navy. United States Captain Bill Rothwell's 30 years of service began with deployment to the Persian Gulf during the Iranian hostage crises. He completed his final assignment in 2010 as Vice Commander of the Navy Net-Centric Warfare Group. John's son, John Rothwell's Navy service in electronics and sonar systems brought him to 12 countries, including time spent in Guantanamo Bay. Our soldiers continue to be deployed. Though technology in warfare has certainly changed, the concerns, fears, heroism, and patriotism remain a constant. For this, we are all grateful. Mr. Speaker and colleagues, today is not only about gratitude and honor owed just to the Rothwell family. It is about the American military servicemen and women and their families. This nation will remain the land of the free only so long as it is home to the brave. And the brave are not only those wearing uniforms, but also the families that infuse a sense of patriotism in their children. God bless our veterans, service members, their families, and God bless America.
Speaker thanks the lady for her heartfelt comments on a patriotic family and the perspective.